Raised Rowdy.
All right, well, guys, welcome to the Raised Rowdy Podcast. I'm your host, Nicky T, and here this week, a special guest host, Mr. Matt Burrill.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, and then our actual guest of the episode, Mr. Austin Meade. Thanks for being here, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's been a few years.
Yeah, I think I'm sure I've seen you since then, but I remember being over at your house.
Yeah. In Antioch.
Yes.
Oh, at the Job house.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was gonna say Job was there. Yeah.
Funny enough, I still to this day randomly find stickers on things that I didn't know they were stickers on that say for rectal use only.
Yeah.
And it makes me smile every time.
I gotta bring that back.
Dude, that was so funny.
I was obsessed with that before I got busy with all the rest of my life.
Hey.
Keep that thing on me, dude. I had a roll of those. I got like the roll. I think I saw him on something at a hospital one time, and I was like, I'm gonna put these on everything. So I put them on diesel pumps. I put them on all my friends' remotes. Dude,
It was on like spices and stuff in the house. It was hilarious.
Yeah.
Me, every time we would come into one, Job and I would just crack up laughing. We'd be like, look.
Austin was here.
Yeah.
Before we were like on our own buses and stuff, we whenever we'd go hang after shows,
Yeah.
I'd like sneak like a handful of them up there and just in conversation with, because at the end of the night everybody's not really paying attention to everything, so you're talking, and then I'd leave my buddies' buses like that we were opening for, and they'd text me like a week later. They'd be like, "What the hell? Did you put rectal use stickers all over my shit?" Like, yeah.
You're like, absolutely, bro. You're welcome.
Keep finding them. Yeah.
Love it.
Honestly, like, seriously, like, Job and I would just crack up about it every time we found one. It was like little breadcrumbs left all around the house. It was so funny.
Yes.
But man, your world has changed a lot since then. I mean, those were like the COVID days, so the world was kind of shut down.
That was kind of like right around when Happier Alone came out, I think.
It was. So Happier Alone was out, and then you were writing for the next record.
Oh, okay.
And so you were in town writing.
Yeah.
Some of the songs. I forget which ones.
That must have been, so that was for the Abstract Art of an Unstable Mind record.
Yeah.
Then we were writing Quicksand and Forever Unfaithful with Tyler Bryant.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly it. Because I remember you talking about the write with Tyler Bryant and how that went and everything.
Yeah.
So
that was wild. I haven't seen those guys in a while, but I still feel like Quicksand is like such an underrated song. We still play it live, and I mean the live version just fucks so hard. People just love that shit. So
dude, I think it's honestly I remember like you playing me like the scratch or whatever you had then, and I was like, yeah.
Yeah, now we've added just like lower octave pedals for all the guitars, and we got some sub drops and just cool stuff that you'd see at like a Chevelle show or something.
Yeah.
So we started doing a lot more touring in that realm right around that time.
Yeah.
Because of some of those songs, and that is really what led to the new record now.
Yeah.
So
the sound has evolved greatly. I remember like you talking about it on that original podcast and kind of like how each record is different, and it's like it's definitely rock leaning even more than what was like most of the guys at that time in the Texas scene were just doing country, and it was kind of like mix.
Yeah.
You were like, no, this is rock music.
Yeah.
So it's cool to see that, and we got to see you play at a rock festival, me and Sam, when we came out for Louder Than Life.
Yeah, that was dope.
Dude, it was sick.
Was that the same day as Limp Bizkit?
Yeah, main stage.
Oh, that
too.
that was Pissgate.
Yeah.
That we talked about. I don't know if I told you that story.
I don't think you did.
So we were in our first bus that I had just gotten like a month before, and you have like your piss tank on your bus.
Yeah.
And by the way, if you get a bus, don't clean it with Clorox. Apparently, the people that had it before us had like poured Clorox down there.
Yeah, you don't do that.
It eroded the rubber seal that held it all in. So whenever we went to go leave, okay, we were parked right behind the main stage. Like our bus was the first one there, so we're right by the subs. And this is like tons of people, big, huge PA. It was badass. But our bus was right by the subs. It was shaking all day. It was hot as fuck. And we were parked, I think, right next to Limp Bizkit's like buses and everything. And when we went to go leave, I was already asleep, like in the back bunk. We went to go leave, and the bus aired up. and apparently there was a little leakage that happened, and it was not intentional by any means. Now we laugh about it, but apparently while it was going on, I was asleep in the back. Like, I'd been up all day running around at the festival hanging out, and I woke up the next morning and the tour manager was like, "We gotta talk. We just leaked piss all over Limp Bizkit's bus." I was like, I don't know if it was, he might have been exaggerating a little bit, but yeah, I had to call and say some sorries to some people, but was not my fault. It was like a 05, 07 bus, you know, and plastic and rubber doesn't last that long.
Yeah, I used to drive when I was out on the road in my tour manager days in my past life. We would take the bandwagons out, and sometimes they'd be driving on the highway in whatever state across the Great Plains, and the piss would just come out.
Yeah.
You know, you're looking down I-40 and you're like, oh, we're leaving our mark.
Dude, I thought that was gonna happen on some of the drives on this tour. Dude, the roads we drove from St. Louis. We went from Oklahoma to St. Louis and then to over here, and damn, dude, like, where are my tax dollars at?
Yeah, right? What are they going to?
They're not on the Great American Highway.
No, that's for sure.
Not at all.
I think if we use the money that they had to buy all those stupid orange cones and actually put that into the road itself rather than just setting a cone there, they'd probably all be done.
Oh, dude, they'd be pristine.
Yeah.
The part that we always talk about, like my family and stuff, is like, okay, well, it's all employees of the state and they get paid by the hour, right? Like in other states, some other states, like that's from Pennsylvania when I was back there, because the roads are terrible in Pennsylvania. Mm-hmm. But in other states like Florida, it's like a bidding gig where it's like, hey, we can do this, we can do it in this amount of time for this amount of money.
Yeah.
And it's like magically those get done fast, you know?
Yeah.
So it's an interesting way. It just depends how the state does it, you know?
Yeah, I think the only difference in it is like, then if you have a bidding war, like who can do it cheaper? And then you're like, oh, what about the safety? Like if we're talking about a bridge.
Oh, yeah.
You know, there's a bridge in Corpus Christi right now that I don't know if it's going to get opened up. It's like a brand new bridge over the ocean, like over the Gulf, you know? Yeah. And people keep going and inspecting it, and we have to take that bridge to get to like Concrete Street and Brewster Street. I'm not taking the bus over it.
Yeah. Oh no.
Yeah, those bridges are so expensive to maintain, to produce. I mean, it's crazy the amount of work it goes into making one, but then also like keeping it legit.
Yeah, they're also absolutely terrifying to go over in a full-size bus and trailer. It's just
dude. Yeah. I've driven those bandwagons like over like the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, like stuff like that, when you're just on the bridge for just miles and miles and miles. You're like, oh shit, there we go.
I blew out an axle last year, and sorry, we're getting a little mechanical here, but blew out an axle on our other trailer because we basically had too much gear for the trailer we had. It was behind the bus, so I couldn't really see it, and blew it out on a bridge in Arkansas that was like over 10 miles long with no shoulder. So I was like, well, we're going to go till the wheel falls off.
Yeah.
And luckily there were some truckers that drove by. They had like seen the bus, and usually everybody that kind of is in the music industry, they'll try to take a peek, be like, oh, I wonder if I know who that is. I was the driver at the time. So they looked over, and I guess they had their CB radios, and they're like, dude, is that dude looks like he's in the band. Why is he driving? And then, a couple miles later, I guess they'd pulled off for fuel or something, and then they caught up with us again. And they were like, oh, God, his rear tire on his trailer's coming out. So they helped me, like, get it pulled over. And, dude, there was no shoulder. They were just out there in traffic, like, ripping the tire off and getting me to the next exit. It was pretty crazy. But anyways.
God bless a good trucker.
Yeah.
Oh, they know what they're doing. They've done that plenty of times, I'm sure.
Yeah, they texted me later because they're like, dude, let me get your number and come out to a show. I was like, absolutely. Like, for the help you gave us, like, no problem. Let me send you some shit. And then they were texting me later like, dude, this record is badass. That's how I make fans one by one, baby.
They travel across the world, travel across America, spreading the gospel of Austin Meade.
Yeah, we've had a lot of funny run-ins, which I could waste 5 hours of your time on that, but
I mean that's probably be a great podcast, but we definitely want to make sure we talk about the record.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. You talk about the road, and it's like a lot of the Texas rock guys get grouped into like the country world, but you're straight like rock, and rock touring is such a different animal from country touring. Like, talk a little bit about that, because a lot of the folks that listen to this are in the country world, but like rock touring is sometimes a 7 day a week thing. Like, you guys just go.
Yeah, it can be counterproductive at some points, but that's what I noticed. Because I started in like, I was opening for like Texas country acts and dance halls like the Wade Bowens and Stoney LaRue's and Randy Rogers, that kind of stuff. That's how we started everything, and we would just like, we sounded lighter then, but we were still heavy enough to like scare most people off for our opening set. And then as we kind of just kept the pedal down on that direction of music, then it opened up some lanes to do some rock touring. And they will just be like, hey, you want to play Albany, New York on Tuesday? And I'm like, fuck. Thought we were playing like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you know? But it's just a different like lifestyle to really do those tours. It does make sense. I mean, when it comes down to the financials, like you can spread out a tour. If you just do like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, you can spread that out for like a full year. And sometimes depending on how like pay structures are and rentals for everything, like it can work out for you. But in the rock world, it seems to be like, okay, we're going to go out for 3 months straight. We're going to play almost every day. We're going to drive all the way over the country like 3 times in a row. And then when we're done, we're just going to like hang out and make a new record. Or I think too, because a lot of the big rock guys, they're like a little bit older and which the country guys have families obviously too, but yeah. I think their mentality is a little bit different on, okay, if I'm going to be gone touring for 3 months, and I'm going to take 3 months off and not do anything to do with like leaving for tour.
Yeah.
So it's definitely different. Sometimes I wonder if it is better to just do Thursday, Friday, Saturday, especially when you're playing new markets, because dude, first of all, it's hard to get people to shows, like unless you're at the top of the top of the top. But even then, like, even if I'm looking at a Luke Combs poster right now, like, I know a lot of people that, I mean, I have never seen him live. I would love to, but, you know, people have kids and jobs and responsibilities, so you would think that if he was going to do a show on a Monday or Tuesday, maybe there would be, like, 40,000 people instead of 80,000 people. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you just scale that down to a club. Mm-hmm. So we're, you know, pretty much in the club and theater level right now. Mm-hmm. And so, like, if we do a 1,000-cap room, like on a weekend, it can be great. But sometimes if I've never been there before and I'm doing it on like early in the week, I'm like, oh God, I'm going to play some deep cuts tonight and these people are going to love it. Yeah. And sometimes those are like really dope shows.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that's another thing is we never really stop going. So we'll go do like a rock tour and open for somebody and do like every day. And then we'll come back home and I'm like, okay, let's go to my bread and butter, which is kind of like the weekend stuff regionally.
Yeah.
So we still ride the lines of both things, which tends to it doesn't look like it's going to be like that tiring. You're like, oh, I got this shit. Like, I'm still 20, dude. But I'm 32 now, and I got like 2 kids and a wife. So sometimes when we're booking out this calendar, I'm like, go, put a show here. And then I'm like 2 weeks in on the tour, and I'm like, oh, hold on, baby. We only got 8 weeks left, you know?
Got to get your road legs back under you.
Yeah. Like this is like right now we're only 1 weekend it's not that long. It's like 5-week run.
Yeah.
So, but we had some time where we were just doing weekend stuff because I just had my second kid. So
yeah, congrats on that.
Hey, congratulations.
Yeah. So, trying to balance all that, dude, you know, is very interesting.
Yeah. I know a lot of guys like Muscadine Bloodline. If you look at their touring, like some of the guys in the band, of course, and even like
Gary had one,
having kids. So it's like, all right, let's like hunker down for a little, and then okay, now let's get back on the road. But it's more like spurts, and like I mean, if you look at Luke's schedule this year, he's doing big festivals. That way, he got like a year to be like a lot with his family.
That's
which
awesome.
Is cool. Yeah. It's neat to be big enough that he can do that, you know?
Yeah, Muscadine takes off for hunting season every year, too. They take off every spring so Gary can go kill turkeys and Charlie can go play golf all around the world. That's like what they do.
I kind of do that just on my own little smaller scale. Like I have friends around the country that'll like let me come hunt at their places. So I'll be like, okay, we're going to Missouri like October 31st through November 7th. And then we're going to like pop over to Virginia a little bit and just kind of pop around.
Tag out everywhere, dude.
Yeah. It's cool to just like really see that stuff. That's why I like traveling so much, is because you get to just when you're touring and you're playing shows, you don't really get to see anything because you're like busy, especially if you're doing the rock thing. It's like every day. All right, got to be there at noon or 2, and then you load in and sound check, and then if you do VIP, you have that, and then boom, show's over. Oh, got to go to merch, shake hands, do the whole thing. You got to make sure everything's loaded out and settled up, and then you're like, oh, bus calls in an hour. I guess we're just gonna sit here and have a beer, and then go to the next town, and hope the bus holds together.
Yeah.
So that's like it's cool to like see the country, but I do really enjoy when we get to do kind of the more spaced out stuff where I can be like, okay, we're going to be far away from home anyways. We have 4 days off, but like, why would I want to drive 1,200 miles back down south and then drive 1,800 miles back up north like 2 days later? So the kids make that harder because then you're like, well, I'll just fly home and see the kids. You know? And the wife, obviously.
She's important too.
Oh, definitely. She holds it down. She does a lot more than she's credited for. She's holding down the fort with 2 under 2 and everything going on with the house, and runs our merch store and all that. So
damn, doing triple duty.
Yeah.
Family business, baby.
Yeah. Try to keep it that way.
So you talked about those rock tours. Why don't we talk about like a few of the guys that you got to be on the road with? Because the list of names is honestly kind of sick. Yeah.
Yeah. I think our first rock tour was probably the Seven Dust tour, which was, funny enough, right, like in the Happier Alone cycle.
Yeah.
So when we got offered that, I was like, oh, hell yeah, I'm doing this. And then I played the first show, and I was like, okay, these guys are really fucking good, and they're really heavy. I mean, they're like the fathers of nu metal.
Yeah.
And I didn't know after the first one how it was going to go because, you have like your metalheads that were just like, these guys are pussies, up there playing Happier Alone or whatever. But by the end of the set, they were all like, most of the guys that were up front with their arms crossed and like real stiff, by the end of it, they were like kind of getting into the groove and stuff. And LJ of Seven Dust, like their singer, dude, nicest guy ever. And he was a huge fan of the song Happier Alone. He's a big fan of Paul Cawthon too. Yeah. Like they would walk up to Cocaine Country Dancing every night before they played their set. Yeah. So he loves like multiple genres of music, and he was a big supporter of what we were doing. And sometimes like during sound check, he'd like walk out of their bus and come film a sound check, and I was like, okay, that's pretty badass.
Yeah.
Then I get all nervous and fuck up or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that was probably the first like metal, real tour that we did. More recently, we did the Godsmack tour, and it was them and I Prevail. We were first to 3 on that, and that was insane because I mean, like I grew up when Godsmack was like just on top, dude.
Yeah, Sully's unlike anything else. Dude.
Yes, yeah. He is very interesting. And the whole band was just so cool to us on that. And then it was really such a bonus to me that I Prevail was on there because I love their music, and their production was like just incredible, which Godsmack had some badass production. They had like flames everywhere every night. And really that tour is what kind of led to our kind of little homemade live setup that we have with like lighting carts and everything. We roll with our own ground package. We did that tour with no production on my end, and we were just in a Sprinter and trailer. And then I went and did those, and I was like, oh shit, like I need to have something other than just a backdrop going, because live show, you are also listening with your eyes.
Yes.
How entertaining is the band? Yeah. Like, yeah, you can do these cool hits, but wouldn't it be even cooler if your lighting show was like programmed to like hit with you? I mean, you're presenting a package of that. So I learned a lot on that tour as far as production and just trying to be like quick, like just get in and out, because we were first to 3. And so sometimes like doors were opening and they'd be like, all right, it's your turn to line check. And there's like 10,000 people piling in. Sometimes they thought we were like playing a show already, which was kind of cool. But then I'd just be like, all right, thanks for listening to Soundcheck. We'll be right back in 5 minutes. Yeah.
Commercial break.
Yeah.
And that was probably the festivals have been like the biggest shows we've played. Like Louder Than Life and Welcome to Rockville.
I think it was like 45,000 people or something.
Yeah. Welcome to Rockville is even bigger. It's like
Crazy.
60K.
Crazy.
Welcome to Rockville is the first one we did, and we were on the main stage. There was a couple bands between us, but we were like the first or second band on the Metallica stage. Sick. So all of Metallica's stuff was up there. Short story, and then I'll keep going. But that was like the first big festival we played, and I was like beside myself that we got that opportunity. And a couple of the bands that were after us, they didn't bring production or like backdrops or anything, and this is my first big one, so I was like, dude, I got this big ass backdrop, like let me put it up. And it was just the Black Sheep like cover, you know.
Yeah.
And so Metallica had all this like insane stuff and screens and flames and everything like just set up ready to go. And we get up there, and at a festival you get like a 5-minute line check. Yeah. And I'm like, dude, I need my backdrop up. I need my backdrop. It was like a big deal to me at the time, right?
Yeah.
So the stage manager calls everybody in, and he was just giving me shit because I was like brand new and young to the scene. He's like, everybody, stop what you're doing. Get over here. This opener wants his backdrop up with his face on it. So I was like, oh, yeah, now that I'm seeing it, like it looked badass to me, you know, but it kind of put me in my place a little bit to be like, yeah, maybe I don't have to have a backdrop hanging up right before we play in front of Metallica. You know? But fuck, I got it up, you know.
That's awesome.
But other than that, we did the ZZ Top tour was really awesome. We did their 50-year anniversary tour. They probably had the best catering, I think, out of anybody. Yeah. The catering was dope, dude. It was like every night you're eating good. And not just like healthy stuff, but also desserts. I was like, man.
Oh, yeah.
They had their own like personal catering that came around. And I'm talking like steak and, you know, mashed potatoes and asparagus or, you know, grilled salmon and stuff like every night. It was dope.
Elite.
Yeah. And those were mostly theaters. So it was like a little different vibe than an amphitheater, or a lot of the Seven Dust shows were like big clubs like Marathon and the Signal and stuff. And so everybody was, you know, jumping and doing the crowd surfing thing. And then the ZZ Top shows was more of like seated theaters. People would still stand up, but, you know, it's a little bit of a different vibe and a different age group too. So I think we tailored like the set list a little bit in those circumstances, especially as we did more of them. So I wouldn't just come out like playing the heaviest song that we have at all the ZZ Top shows. I was like, okay, let's start with, I think on that tour we started with Red Roof Estates a lot, which is kind of like a disco rock song. It's still got a ripping guitar solo, but it doesn't just come out and like make people go, oh, you know, at the beginning, which I used to pride myself on that. Like when I was opening for just like really country bands, I'd be like, what's the heaviest song? Let me do it first.
Let's kick the door down.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of learning with that, with those things. And we did a tour with Dirty Honey, which was really extensive, like throughout the U.S. That was cool. That was mostly clubs and theaters. And those guys are just old school rock and roll. You know? So most of our catalog fit with that. We changed the set list up almost every night with that one because I didn't feel like I needed to stay kind of in a certain lane. But you can also shoot yourself in the foot if you're like tailoring your set list for specific tours, because the people that do come out for you, they'll be like, why didn't you play my favorite song? Like it's in your top 5 on Spotify. And I was like, well, I didn't know that it would really fit this tour. So there's kind of a balance you have to play with that. But that is also, I take pride in knowing that like, dude, we have a deep catalog right now. Like we have a lot of shit. And so I can kind of chameleon my way into a country tour or a metal tour. But at the same time, maybe that's why we're not on the same level as Luke yet, is because we haven't like committed to like a certain exact sound. You know what I mean? For me, it's always about the songwriting, and I feel like I can make a song in pretty much whatever genre like we wanted to. I actually have a handful of songs that are like Mac Miller inspired that I'm going to release sometime, but it's totally different than everything else we've done. So that's why I'm not like working at a label or something, is because I just don't understand what is the one thing that like really pops and sends it. For me, it's always songwriting. Like as a fan, I'm like, dude, this song made me feel it, and just that honesty and stuff. But I don't know. What do you guys see as like a thing like when somebody pops off? Because some people do it after one EP, or one record.
One song sometimes, like gets it rolling. I mean, in my head, like one of the things I see is you'll see something just uber connect with people, right? Like, I mean, for Muscadine, that it was Porch Swing Angel, which was like one of their first songs, right?
Yeah,
like
great
they
song.
came out of the gate with that song, and it kind of like helped them figure out who they were at that time. Now their sound drastically changed from that, you know, and it kind of went like rock leaning, and I think they figured out their sound. But it's moments, right? And in the show, in your live show, you have moments in it.
Yeah.
But if you can get that moment to like show to the world, which is like virility, right? If you talk about Luke, like he popped on Vine and then YouTube, and then, you know, it's like he had that right around that same time. Kane Brown, Kane's still around, still a headliner in the genre.
Yeah.
So it's just like trying to figure out how you can catch those moments where the masses get to hear that song as opposed to just the people that are listening.
Right.
Like I know, like when I worked at a record label for a little while, they would target. They'd be like, "Hey, we have Hardy and we have this rock artist. We would like to cross those rock artists' fans over to Hardy." Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like trying to target their videos, their rollout to get that crossover with that specific like other target audience.
Yeah.
That's how you go from, you know, X amount of streams to maybe trying to get to double that, right? Because with your normal fanship, unless you have a song just take over the world, it's hard to double, you know? You might get an extra 10%, right? When new album cycle comes out, maybe 20%.
Yeah.
But to like really have a moment where it pops, you kind of need to try to figure out how you can craft that moment, you know?
Yeah, that's like why I think, because we've been on the road so long, and like that's what I do for a living, is I just tour, and I've been doing that for like 12, maybe 15 years now.
Yeah.
Like I'm there every day, like seeing who's in the crowd, and I'm absolutely like changing up the set as I'm watching the crowd and reading it. And it's hard sometimes as an artist to like separate yourself from that in-person moment. Yeah. So just be like, they're behind a screen, like whatever. And dude, there's so many haters online now too. It's like, that's one thing I have figured out is the more haters comments we get, usually that means the song's doing pretty damn good.
It's working for sure, dog, for sure.
That's 100% it, because if it's feeding it to enough people, they're going to feed it to some people that not only don't like it, but really don't like it. So when we see our videos, even like, it's not our content really. It's often like, you know, like we post a video of Toby Keith or something, you know, or Kid Rock, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the stuff that pops for us. It's almost like memes and meme-based things. So it's like when we post that, you know that video is really cooking when there's people like talking shit on the people that are on.
Yeah, we've had a few different people where we posted like clips from like a concert, like we're in the pit and we're like videoing it. And they're like, "Man, fuck that guy."
Yeah,
it's like, man, comment all you want.
Yeah.
Like that's just feeding the algorithm.
Triples the viewership. You know? But it is an interesting thing. I mean, the world we live in is full of people that have very strong opinions, right?
Yeah.
And funny enough, today we just had our buddy Brian Fraser and the Raised Rowdy brand mentioned in Rolling Stone for our coverage of butt rock, right?
Nice.
Which like that's how we made Rolling Stone.
Yeah, we made Rolling Stone for memes about Creed, Nickelback, Hinder, Saliva, and Limp Bizkit. Like it's awesome.
It's so funny though, you know, like, but that's like everybody hated on that stuff.
Yeah.
That's why it's back and popular. You know what I mean? I always like laugh about Florida Georgia Line because everyone hated on them so much. I'm like, how many years before all you guys want FGL back together?
And FGL sells out stadiums.
Yeah.
Like, again, you know?
It's all a circle, you know?
Yeah, I did. I crack up. I saw, so we're actually on tour right now, like with Hinder.
Yeah.
And they have a shirt that I think it's their shirt that says "Divorced Dad Rock," and like they just keep selling out of it.
Oh yeah.
It's like just the coolest shit.
They're just leaning in on the bed, bro.
We have like the latest song we have out is called "Almost Famous," and dude, I've been fucking cracking up like looking at random comments on there. Just obviously I don't know these people, but they're like, one person was like, "Cosplaying as a blue collar white American is wrong," and I'm like, what the fuck? That's who I am.
Like, have you met me?
The song is literally about me. You know, like, what does cosplay even mean, dude? I don't have time to put that shit in my vocabulary.
Well, as funny enough, like as we were like prepping for this, you were like, "Yo, can you give me Bush Light and Zins?" And Matt was like,
I was like, this is the most on-brand thing ever. This is white trash rock. Like, I love it. I'm like, this is Austin Meade.
Dude, after that traffic, I was over here. I was like, oh, I got to get a fucking beer, man.
Yeah.
I need a beer and I need a pouch now.
Yes.
I'm like, we're actually going to the gas station and dropping off some packages anyway, so it was perfect timing.
Nice. Yeah. We did, whenever we were writing that song, which we wrote in this building, which is crazy. Yeah, with David Willey, our lead player, and Cam Mizell, awesome producer, and Evan McKeever, who's also just super talented. And came in, somebody had a sick riff, and I was like, we're doing the sick riff. Like, that's too much on brand for us. Like, we got to do the sick riff, and we'll just come up with a breakdown in a minute. And then we're like, all right, what do we write about? And I was just like in a mood that week of like, fuck, dude, nothing's working. Like, everybody keeps telling me to do all this shit for my career, dance in front of the camera and, you know, run these ads. And I'm like, oh, some days you feel great and some days you just fucking, you're almost there. And Evan was like, that's funny because I was turning on the TV earlier and I was remembering about the show Almost Famous. And I was like, oh, dude, that's the song. So that's really where it was born, was literally from me just being like as honest as I could about that whole thing, which is what we did in the music video too, that people love to hate on now.
It's the best, though.
Like the truck that's in that music video, like that's my truck.
Yeah.
And somebody's commenting like, oh, look, he's pretending to work on a classic truck. I'm like, bitch, I change oil on that myself. What are you talking about?
That's the funniest part is, like, it's the same thing, like our buddies Lakeview, right? Like, that's definitely in their branding world is like blue collar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But those dudes, literally, when we met them, were out doing freaking landscaping,
mowing
all day.
grass.
Yeah.
Building retaining walls and playing shows at night.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
That's
they
what
were
they were
very
doing.
tan because they were out landscaping
That's how
all
Luke
day.
is so
Jacked.
ripped, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. But, like, that's the brand. They just leaned into it extra. Like, once they realized, they're like, oh, let's just be us and tell the people who we are, and they're going to love it.
Right.
And we just got to see them. They played Country Concert, which is a festival that is very country. They like traditional country. They have this festival. It's in the middle of Ohio, and like if you got fiddle in it, they're in. But they liked Lakeview, brother.
And they're doing breakdowns.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, they're screaming. They just posted a video of like this group of young girl, like little kid, like 6 or probably like 8, 9-year-old girls in the front row, and Luke's up there screaming the breakdown to "Money Where Your Mouth Is," like dropping f-bombs. And the little girls are just rocking out.
Yes.
Like, people love it, man.
It was cool. But it's like it's interesting too because we're in the festival world pretty heavy, but it's mostly country festivals. You know, like Tailgate and Tall Boys has a little bit of rock crossover, but not like a ton. Like they had
That Shine Down last year.
Yeah, last year as one of the headliners, which was sick. And honestly brought like a whole different demo to the festival when it sold
dope.
better than when they didn't have that, you know?
That is dope.
So it's like, it's cool to see the worlds cross over, but it's also cool to see people like Lakeview were 2 rock guys. They were like, let's do some country music because, you know, they moved to Nashville and then they were like, no, the more rock they got, the more it worked, which is sick because that was where their roots were, you know? It's super interesting to see like that kind of develop as an artist develops and gets comfortable. Then you don't feel like you have to do what everybody's telling you to do. You feel like you can do what you want to do, what you're meant to do.
Yeah, which when you're in this town too, there's always people trying to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
It's like, bro, I'm just gonna fucking do me.
Yeah.
That's why I live down towards, you know, South Central Texas. I'm like, I don't know if I could do it being here 24/7. You know, but
dude, it's tough even on our side. You know, it's everybody has an opinion of what you should be doing, when you should be doing it, where you should be doing it, right?
And usually by the time you do it, it's already too late 'cause somebody already did it originally.
Exactly. Yeah.
So we always get that. That seems to be the thing that's like, I feel like I've been making the same genre. I mean, we make a lot of genres of music within what we do, but I've been doing like my thing for a long time.
Yes.
And then it always gets thrown out in like these meetings and stuff. They're like, well, what if we did a song, which I'm a huge fan of all of these guys, but like, what if we did a song a little bit more like Hardy? I'm like, I feel like I'm already fucking doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
like, I'm in that lane and I've been for 5 years.
yeah, I mean, I would love to have him on a song. That'd be dope as hell.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, dude, I have multiple videos that people have sent me on his pre-show, like before he comes out, he's playing Happier Alone to the crowd and stuff.
Yep.
I'm like, these guys that are telling me this in meetings, I'm like, I think you're a little behind already because he's already on to the music. in some form or fashion. You know, he's playing it right before a show, which could have been like the connection, you know, because I know that they're homeboys. But yeah, I mean, even like everybody always mentions the Jelly Roll stuff. You know, he did rap and then rock and pretty country stuff, you know. But like, I think the fun thing about what we're doing is that like it would be awesome to go open for any of those guys. It would be super dope. I think we would go over really well. But then we can also go do like a couple bands before Metallica, and I'll be like, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's the sweet spot, man. Like, and right now, we've talked about this for a while, but I remember like when Sam, who we met from our cover, like me having you on the podcast all those years ago.
Yeah.
That's how we met Sam. And we were like, he was like, can I cover this? And I'm like, yeah, we'll just pretend like that's country, bro. You know?
Well, honestly, Texas, it's like when you talk about Texas and Oklahoma and red dirt, it's as much shred dirt as it is red dirt. Like, rock didn't die. Rock just fucking packed its bags and moved to Texas. And you're one of the guys that's been a part of that, man. Like, it's Texas is like, if you don't have like a riff or a breakdown, I mean, even guys like Wyatt Flores are doing breakdowns in their own ways, like in their shows, you know, even the more rootsy guys.
I love seeing like the cowboy hats headbanging at our show.
Oh, yeah.
It's pretty cool.
It's cool.
And when we come back to a town after doing like a big festival where we've, you know, been able to play in front of some more people, cracks me up because you'll see like some rocker chicks with like purple hair and nipple rings and fishnets on like walk in, and then right after them is like somebody it looks like I went to high school with like a cowboy hat and starch jeans. I'm like, I hope they become friends by the end of the night.
Yeah, man, that's the crowd.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, man, is like when you can cross over to fan bases, that's super powerful, honestly. And that's what I've seen like people do really well. Like think about like Jelly, right? He took that whole rap thing that he had, and then he realized, oh, when I sing, I get a whole different fan base. And by the way, all my people are still with me, right? So that's when it got powerful. And then you mix him with every other artist. He's like the Akon of country music, bro.
Yeah.
You know, he's like Sean Paul from the freaking 2000s of country music. He's on with everyone now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's leaning pop. It's leaning rap a little. It's leaning, of course, country. It's like, and then his stardom just rose like freaking crazy from that.
The first time I met those guys, we were, you mentioned Shinedown.
Yeah.
Shinedown had him out on a tour, and they had us open up a show like up north. And dude, they were just like so welcoming and so nice. But we played right before. I'm pretty sure we were right before Jelly, and so I'm having a blast, dude. I'm like side stage watching their show, watching like the crazy drums and everything.
Yeah,
like,
Cody's
go
a
off.
beast.
Yes. So great. And then I get to see a Shinedown show from like the side of the stage. I'm like, bro, this is the coolest thing of my life. So I probably had like, 8 Busch Lights or something. And I stole a golf cart from like security and was doing donuts out in this dirt lot, just having a great time. Because why not? We're in the middle of fucking nowhere.
Yeah.
Having a great time. And then like I had to return the golf cart because security got all pissed off. And then the next morning I saw a picture that they posted with some of the guys from Shinedown and Jelly. They were like on a golf cart going on a ride. So I don't know to this day if I inspired that ride, but it was definitely after I got kicked off of the same golf cart.
That's
They're like, let's take this for a ride.
Which Zach Myers told me the reason they had us on the show was because he was here in Nashville. And we were still in like Sprinter and Trailer, and we used to have our the cover for Cave In and Dopamine Drop, which is like this necklace thing. That was on the side of our trailer, and he said he was eating a sandwich, and he looked up, and we like drove by, and he saw like the logo and the name, and he was like, well, that's pretty good. Let's have him on a show. I was like, oh shit, it worked.
Yeah. You're like, it does work when you put a up. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That's awesome.
That's super cool. Well, let's talk a little bit more about the new records. So
Yeah.
we mentioned Almost Famous, but why don't we go back through like Bad Days?
Okay. Bad Days might be, I could say all of them are favorite, damn it. But Bad Days is hilarious to me because it's just like very sassy.
Mm-hmm.
That bridge or the pre-chorus is so funny to me. It's like, blah, 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 gossip all day long, love you southern drawl, but I don't want to hear about your bad days. Dude, it was just like, I feel like every dude wants to say that sometimes, but knows they shouldn't say it.
So you said it for us.
So I said it for him, which is like, it was kind of a tip back towards a song called Cave In off of the Black Sheep record. We have a line in there it says, "I wish that you would fuck me like you gave a damn." And like we have that on koozies, and that's like one of the most sang along lines at our headline shows is like that. And I was like, how can I do that again, but to go with this vibe, which is kind of like a lighthearted vibe on that. And dude, the breakdown at the end of that song is just like incredible. I think it's really fun. And I had my little kid do like his best metal scream. And so
I was wondering what that was.
yeah, I'm like, come on, son, show him what you got. And then you just hear his like metal scream, and I'm like, hell yeah. And then we just do this like, it's like a halftime crazy breakdown type thing. It's just for a second at the end, but live we definitely drag out the heavy side of that. That song feels good to me. It's just like kind of a boppy groove, you know, and then when you do get to the breakdown in it, similar to Almost Famous, because those were written by like the same group of guys. We wanted to, I was listening to like a ton of A Day to Remember as well. And obviously like I'm not as heavy as they are on their heavy side of stuff, but they also have a lot of music that's very similar to that, where you're just jamming, having a good time, and then you're like, oh shit, here's a breakdown. I want to hear it, like turn it up. Mm-hmm. So those were really fun to make, man. And we kind of connected those two songs. You hear a little phone vibrate at the end of Almost Famous. You don't realize what that is until Bad Day starts. And then I have this voicemail from my wife, who is also known as Spicy Stacy from the Abstract Art record. Yep. She's like, pick up the phone, you son of a bitch. And that's like how you start your bad day, you know? Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think both those songs feel pretty good to me.
I think they're both amazing and like super on brand when I think of your music, but also like a little twist on that. You know, it feels like, and we'll talk about the third song, but it feels like a mix of modern and nostalgia mixed, which I think is sick.
Yeah.
I think the rock world is having a revival right now, but a lot of the rock is either like that nostalgic rock that is like now coming back, or it's like the Texas-y Oklahoma rock. And I think like those first two songs kind of encapsulate like a mix of those two things.
Well, that was going to be the title of the record was going to be Numb Me Nostalgic from that song on the record.
Yeah.
Which as soon as we wrote that with let's see, I think it was Riley Bria and Michael Whitworth and Andrew Bayless.
Two beasts, but Whitworth and Bayless are incredible.
The whole time we were writing that, Whitworth was like jumping up and down. We were over at Bayless's place, and he was like jumping up and down. He's like, "This is a hit," and I was like, "This guy writes some pretty good songs, so this must be all right." Yeah, you know what I mean? But God, dude, that song is so fun. Yeah, that's just like, I wanted to put as many references. I'm a '90s baby. Mm-hmm. So I was like, dude, take me back to my childhood, and I was like, man, what's a band that I can mention in this song that everybody would be like, oh yeah, I'm immediately back in that nostalgia. And I'm like, Goo Goo Dolls. Oh yeah, 100%. Like as soon as I hear Goo Goo Dolls, I already hear that acoustic guitar, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is it. So I even say in the song, it's like, hit me with some Goo Goo Dolls. Iris is a classic, you know. It's just kind of like reference after reference. I really wanted to mention Hillary Clinton in a song, but I thought it would be funnier to kind of like twist the knife a little bit by mentioning Monica Lewinsky instead.
Yeah.
So Monica Lewinsky is in that song because of that. Which there's like a little clip from Bill Clinton in there, and then like the George Bush thing at the very end too.
Yeah.
We were gonna put like the I did not have sexual relations with that woman, but we felt like it was a little too on point. So we just put right before that, he's like, I got one thing to say to the American people, or whatever the quote is from there. And then I said a line about Monica Lewinsky, and I was like, okay, if we're going to put Bill Clinton, I need the now watch this drive at the very end of this song. So that's the little TV clicking on and off at the end.
I think that song for me, when I'm listening to this record, is like, I'm like, okay, so this is nostalgia rock mixed with like exactly what's kind of like floating in the scene and like in rock music right now.
Yeah.
So when I heard that song, I was like, Oh, I love it. And I'm in nostalgia part of my life because I'm old, you know? So
Nicky T lives in nostalgia.
Yeah.
Nicky T is nostalgia.
being a 43-year-old dude now, I'm like, dude, I go back and listen to Black Hole Sun all the time.
Yeah.
And, you know what I mean? Like, I never really understood it when my older brothers were doing that. I'm like, what do you mean? New music, new music, new music. And now I'm like, no, there's something to those old
I
Cornell
know.
vocals, you know?
Dude, seriously, yes.
It's an interesting thing, you know, as I grow in my life, my listenership changes, right? That's how life works. But I'm still searching out new stuff and I still love it. But if you can give me that little dopamine drip of that nostalgia,
Yeah.
I'm like, fill my veins with that.
Yeah, well, that's also why I was like in that song. I think I say hit me with that nudie mag underneath the mattress. I'm like, dude. As soon as I said that, everybody was laughing. Like I just said it as a joke because when you're songwriting, you're just throwing ridiculous shit out with your boys and just saying shit that's probably not gonna stick. And then Whitworth looked over. He's like, that. I'm like, okay, if that's it, then let's go. Because I thought it was cool, but I didn't know it was gonna stick like that.
Yeah.
And when we show people that song, usually as soon as they hear that line, they're like laughing and like enjoying it even more because it just, dude, a nudie mag underneath the mattress. It's funny as hell, and like, you know who you're talking about. You're talking about like being younger and trying to hide that shit. You know?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Funny enough, I was just back in Pennsylvania. That's where I'm from. And like going through all my old stuff, like, and honestly bringing some of it back. I brought back like one of my first festivals I ever went to was Rolling Rock Town Fair. It was in Latrobe, Pennsylvania. And I brought back the Rolling Rock Town Fair poster that hung on my wall
Nice.
ever since college. Didn't even live in that room after college, but I put it up, you know?
Yeah.
And then I found a Maxim magazine,
Let's go.
which, you know, is pretty risque in general in terms of like today's thing. And in the Maxim magazine was like old, like found from my dad and stole
Nice.
legitimate pornography. You know what I mean? So I was like, I gotta bring this Maxim home with me, and I still left that tucked in there.
He was sending me photos like look at what I found. I'm like, oh shit, dude, there you go, like a time
Literally.
machine.
Yeah,
literally the line in the song.
Yeah. So when I heard that line, like, not only did it hit because it's just funny,
Yeah.
but like I literally just did that, and I'm like, oh my god, Austin's speaking to me. I'm like, I'm in the fucking Matrix, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot in that one. I think I talk about MTV in there, which, dude, I grew up watching that before school every day, dude. I was like watching the countdowns and after school. You know, it was just like, all right, let me hear some stuff. Which I went back and my oldest, he loves music, you know, and so I'll put on music videos because I'd rather him watch that than whatever brain rot stuff is out there.
Yeah.
But I go back and watch some of these music videos and I'm like, why was I so into that? You know, because some of the more popular, more poppy stuff, I guess. And then I just go back to like the old, like unplugged acoustic records and stuff. And I'm like, oh, dude, I need a cigarette. Let's go.
It's so true, man. And we talk about that all the time. Like my most listened to record of physical media of all time is probably Unplugged in New York by Nirvana. Just I had that CD and I just like I ran through it and bought a new copy because it was so scratched up from me playing it so much, you know. So there's just something when you hear the music of your past or even mentions of it like you have in this song. I mean, it just I heard that the first time and I'm like, that's scratching the exact right itch on me. So thank you for that.
Yeah. It was also on this record, it was like I have like probably 2 songs on there that are more up the Happier Alone vein, kind of a sweeter sounding thing, you know, and then there's also the last one, like Father Like Son, which is its whole own thing, and that specifically like talks about, for me, that's about the lineage of like my grandfather and my father and me and my sons now. But what I was getting at with that whole thing was a lot of this record was just like me just living in the nostalgia and just wanting to talk about what I wanted to actually do with my boys rather than trying to be so specific about everything. And like to somebody else, like, how can I connect with someone? I'm like, let me just connect with myself on a lot of this stuff. So a lot of those sessions that we did for songwriting, I mean, some of it I already had verses written out or like a chorus tagline. I was like, well, we're going to write this. And then somebody have a sick riff. And I'm like, all right, let's just focus on this. And how can I make this feel like I'm watching a Paramore music video before I go to middle school, you know, or like Fall Out Boy, you know, big into those guys, which they're still crushing it, by the way.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
international tours. They like play in Egypt and shit.
It's insane, dude. I saw yesterday that Motion City Soundtrack was opening up for them, and their singer got really sick. So the front man from Fall Out Boy, he just hopped up there and like sang everything from Motion City Soundtrack, and
So cool.
Dude, I don't even know the words to like all of my best friend's songs, and he just got up there and just ripped a whole set in front of like thousands of people. Like that takes some balls, dude.
Yeah,
It's crazy. But that's why when I heard that song, I was like, this feels, and then I listened to the record, you know, a few times through, of course. I was like, that feels like that is kind of the tone of the record, is that like nostalgia drip that it puts in your vein. And like the songs sonically they sound a lot different. Some of the songs sound very different from each other, but that's kind of like in my head the roots of where I see it, just at least for me.
Yeah, that was gonna be, like I said, the title track on it, until we kind of tossed that up, and then our buddy Jimmy, he was like, man, I think that if you titled it Almost Famous, I feel like it would be a little bit more true, just the wording of it to the whole thing. And Nummy Nostalgic is super sick. I still kind of wish that was the title of the record, but it is a little bit of a mouthful.
Yeah.
And especially once I figured out that Almost Famous was going to be the first single, I was like, okay, this makes sense. And it would be really incredibly ironic if Almost Famous was like a record that was big enough to make us actually famous.
Yeah.
yeah, right,
So,
right.
A little joke on yourself.
No, dude, absolutely.
So hopefully that works out. But
No, and I think all three of those tracks, when you listen to them specifically in a row like that, it's like you really get an idea of what this record's like and like where you're at in your thing right now.
yeah.
So you talked about those co-writers. Is there anyone else that you've been writing with, or is that like some of your homies that you've been writing with for this record?
Mostly homies like that, which,
Yeah.
I mean, I met a lot of those guys from the last EP that we put out with Blackout, Insignificant Other, Pretty Little Waste, Stoner Fantasy, and I'm going blank. But anyways, something else is on there. Mostly just my homeboys. I do write sometimes with Mitchell Ferguson.
Yeah.
Oh, we fucking love that guy, man.
Yeah.
What a dude.
We just wrote another one like last month on my back porch. We just put up a little, iPhone acoustic video of it on Instagram, but it's actually it's a deep song. Mitchell's actually on this record on Civil War.
Yep.
So Mitchell had showed me this song Civil War, and he's like, "Hey, check this out," because he knew I was just writing like all the time. And he sent it to me, and I listened to it. I was like, damn, this song is super sick. So I'm just listening to it in the truck every now and then, all the time. And then we're getting together our track listing for this record. And I was like, hey, are you going to put this song on a record? Or would you care if I like messed around with it and changed some stuff and just see if you like it? And because it kind of sounds like it goes with the whole vibe of the rest of the record. And then I was like, you want to sing on it, dude? So Civil War was one that he started, and I think we changed a couple melodies and some words here and there just for the flow of it, and then we pitched the guitars way down. I mean, they're like, we pitched them so low so we could sing higher on it, that kind of a thing. So we just kept going like one notch lower on the tuner, and then Riley would be like, a little lower. And then like 5 later, we were like, a little lower. It just kept going like that. But Civil War, I feel like, is a very nostalgic song too. It kind of sounds to me like that, just pop punk-esque, like almost a pop punk type ballad. But yeah, Mitchell, I write all the time with David Willey. He's been in the band for almost a decade now, and he comes up with a lot of the really interesting riffs. Sometimes they bring me a riff that to me sounds like a little bit complicated because he's like an amazing guitar player.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, my favorite guitar player would do this, and I'm like, sounds sick, but can we make it a little simpler and stupid for my brain?
Yeah.
So we'll kind of square some things up. I think about music like math, so I like want things to kind of square up in certain ways. And a lot of times it'll be him bringing in a riff, and I'll have a one line. Riley Bria wrote a bunch of the songs with us too, who produced this record. And then his buddy Trey Gust, who's in Nashville, he wrote a couple of them with us too. Trey's a really great guy. Trey's like probably the most positive guy when I'm like, hey, this is a really stupid line. This is going to sound like shit, but does anybody think this is okay? And Trey will usually be like, it's pretty good, dude. And then Riley will be like, I think you can do better. And I'm like, okay, so let's meet in the middle on that, But love both those guys. Those are like just, those become some of our real homeboys. Other than that, shoot, we did Bottle You Up. That was written with Kyle Odell, who did a lot of the production on the last record. He's here in town, and then a guy named Curtis Peoples, who he's a great songwriter, and he's like homeboys with the Pierce the Veil guys, so he did some of their older stuff. And let's see, there's one song that's not on this record that was actually with a guy named Troy Cartwright. I love his songwriting, so hopefully that'll be on the next one. But ever since I went down the road of having two kids, I've been like doing a lot of writing at home. 'Cause we used to pop out here like once a month, for like 4 or 5 days. And it's like crazy when you're touring, and then you go back home for like one day, and then you're like, all right, I got to catch a 6 a.m. flight, and then I'll be back home Thursday, and then I leave Thursday morning for like 4 more shows. So I think I'm going to approach it a little bit differently this year. I've got my little circle of guys that like we all know how to work with each other, and we feed off each other really well. And they're all super badass at, whatever their thing is. So we'll probably like just hold that little squad together, I hope.
Yeah. And I think there's power in that too. It's like the sound sounds cohesive too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It can vary some, but it all still sounds,
So with Numbing Nostalgic, it was most of the same crew for Bubblegum and Cigarettes, which is probably the heaviest song on the record. Which that came about right after we opened for Limp Bizkit. I was like, I gotta have something. Like I can't like go play these festivals and not have like an absolute ripper with like, I wanted something people could jump to.
Yeah.
And I felt like that one just hit the nail on the head. So Almost Famous and Bad Days are kind of brother songs, and then Numb Me, Nostalgic, and Bubblegum and Cigarettes are kind of brother songs. And it kind of works its way down the line with that. There's Honeydew and She Loves Me Not, which was most of the same guys on those. And those are kind of more of the light, like, feel good, almost poppy stuff.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like to pair songs. When I'm making a track listing, I'm pretty diligent about listening through to the record, like, for days in a row while I'm driving, and just like, I didn't feel like the vibe was here, because I do the same thing with set list at the live show all the time.
Yeah.
So our guys at the label, they really wanted Honeydew to be like earlier in the song listing on the record, but I felt like I didn't want to get to that soft spot yet, because that song, it definitely one of my top favorites on the record. It's so sweet. It felt like it was hard for me to go from like Bad Days, where I'm talking about somebody just bitching at me, and Bubblegum and Cigarettes, which is just like super hardcore, like straight into something sweet. I feel like we needed like a little transition into that, which I think ended up being Civil War, which kind of plays off of both. But
I love that. And honestly, we do a lot of interviews. I mean, Matt and I is often separate, but the level of thought that you put into your process, and I've said this from the first time that I had you on the podcast, like, your attention to detail with your artistry and your album crafting and your song crafting is heads and toes above most other artists.
Thanks.
Absolutely. And I think that's real artistry, right? Like, I've gotten to be, since you've seen me last on the podcast, I've gotten to be around a lot more artists to kind of like just see little bits of their artistry. And the ones that are really artists are the ones that know exactly how they want to steer the ship, and they're willing to take turns and move around, but they have a plan in mind at that time, and you are 100% that, brother.
I'm sure it gets annoying for the other guys in the room, and I'm like, no, we're doing this, and they're like, okay. But luckily, like I was saying about the team of guys we have around us, like, they all understand that. Like, and this was our first record to do with Riley. We've been friends with Riley for a long time. Dude, the guy is so talented. It's like crazy. And having him and Willie in a room together, it was like, okay, we have these two, they're basically both guitar gods. They can sing harmonies like absolute eagles. So like, I'm like, all right, I'm just going to really lead the direction of, I try to find my lane in that. Like, I know that I'm not going to play the best solo. Like, I can't play worth the crap compared to those guys, So like, that's more of like Willie's realm. And on this record, Riley came in and like, they kind of like did that thing. But while they're sitting there playing the solo, they'll do a couple takes, and then I'll be like, okay, this was great for like the first, bar or two. and I just want to hear it like go a little bit different direction here. And sometimes I'll just say a feeling, and they'll translate the feeling that I'm saying into a note, and I'm like, how did you do that? Or if they're riffing through one and they'll hit a note where I'm like, oh, that's it. I'll just go, ooh, yeah. And then he's like, okay, I'm gonna go back to that next time, and we just kind of craft it like that as far as the guitar stuff goes.
So cool.
But on some of the songs, like Honeydew is really just about the vocal melody. There's a guitar in the background that's playing the same note the whole song. It sounds almost like an alarm clock. And that's just literally about the vocal melody. Those are fun because those are ones when you walk out, like you can't stop singing the song in your head. And then like 2 days later, you're like, damn, that must be decent if like I can't stop hearing it in my head. Usually you'll write another song the next day or the next week and you're like, oh, this one's my favorite baby. But dude, we had like almost 40 songs for this record. And I just wanted to bring it to like the 10 that I thought were like, dude, when I'm sitting there at night and I'm just listening to whatever's going on in my head, I'm like, yeah, that song's got to go on there because it's been like 5 nights in a row now, you know? So it's hard to like pick your favorite babies when you're writing all these things. Like, we'll put this one on the next one. And it also goes back to the nostalgic thing, like which ones fit in that, feeling, like which ones kind of took me back to almost a high school or junior high type feeling. Just feeling young again feels good.
It feels so good.
Oh, it really does, man. It really felt like a time machine, like listening to it last night while I was jamming out in my bedroom playing MLB The Show last night. It was awesome, man. It was really cool.
I hope I'm the only one to reference Christ Air, Tony Hawk Pro Skater.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
I love it, man. I think it's cool watching the evolution of your sound from when I first met you and the Happier Alone days, and then you going like the real heavy stuff, and now it's kind of like a mashup of those things. It's exciting for me as a fan, because we get to hear it, and I've got to see it a few times live, but just getting this new record just has me so reinvigorated for it too, because it feels timely and timeless at the same time. And it's like, if you got that, that's what you want.
That's why I'm such a big Tom Petty fan, is because, dude, Tom Petty made songs that will be played forever. Mm-hmm. Like, that is like timeless songwriting to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, dude, how many times do you walk down to a bar down here and you hear like 10 Tom Petty songs, just walking down the street? And like, those are the songs that I want to make, is like stuff that people want to listen to, no matter if they're in high school or college, or they're in their 60s or 70s. Like those people can still find something, whether it's a guitar part or the lyrical content or just the vocal melody. That's like, it's my whole goal. I've always said that since I started writing songs. I went to Texas A&M and everybody had like buildings named after their family and streets and stuff, and I was like, I'm never going to be able to afford to have like a multi-million-dollar building named after me. But if I can make a song that will last longer than that building, that'd be pretty dope.
Yeah, man.
So it's just kind
Absolutely.
of the way
That's cool you reference A&M. We're potentially going to be out there in September for live at the station.
Oh, we're playing in September out there, so I hope it's not the same day as that festival.
No, I'm sure. I've actually got it pulled up in here in September, and it looks like it is different. And if it is around that same weekend, we will get there. We will come to the show.
I think
be out there and party.
I think it's the 13th. We're gonna go play at the Tap.
Yeah, that's when because I'm there. I think the festival is the 14th or the 15th. So
this could work out great.
This could work out great where we're out there and we can get to see you. Do the shows feel different when you play back in Texas? Like, does it feel just like different playing in front of a Texas rock crowd?
We're usually, just because we've been doing it there for like a decade, I get more laid back around that stuff because we've been there, and like it's growing, and so we're growing into like some bigger rooms in some places and still trying to grow some other areas. I mean, Texas is a big place.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ground to cover, dude. But I also just like not being 1,500 miles from home is nice sometimes. Yeah. Because you're like, oh, we'll actually be home tomorrow instead of, driving in a bus for 2 or 3 days straight. But there's definitely a couple places like in Texas where I get super pumped when I see it on the calendar. Like we've been doing Green Hall for a couple years now, and that was really the first spot that I got to open at Green for Charlie Robinson and Cody Canada, a lot of people there that kind of formed my career. And it was those guys that were also like super true to themselves and their brand, and like opening those shows for them whenever we were starting. And I just started to see like, oh, these people like this music and these guys because it's literally just like them being themselves 100%. And you could say that about a lot of other genres, I guess. You know, we mentioned like the Jelly Roll thing too. But for my personal experience, like that's where I saw that take off first, was like in Green Hall and stuff. So we're playing back in the same place, the Whitewater Amphitheater, which is like a bigger venue there. But we're doing 2 nights there with Treaty Oak Revival, and
that's gonna be sick.
Yeah, they're in the same realm of like, bro, they are so like honest to who they are on stage and off stage. Like those guys don't change. They're like in a good way, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like they don't care who's in the room. They're just gonna be themselves, and I think that's why they're doing so well too.
I agree.
But
we love them. I remember one of our writers, Stacy, who isn't writing for us right now, but I'm still like friends with. She was like, "Hey, I found this band. They put out a record. Are you cool if I cover it?" I'm like, "Yes, Stacy. If you think it's good, it's good." You know.
Yeah.
And covered Treaty Oak when I think they had like 3,000 or 4,000 monthly listeners, and just to see the ride that they've taken.
crazy.
Their live show is nuts.
Yeah.
We were with them in Stillwater, Oklahoma at Cat Fry, and they were headlining it for the first time, and it was just chaos.
Yeah.
Man. It was so much fun.
People have fully bought into that. Like it's like a lifestyle, you know. I'll have to show you in a bit, but Sam, their lead singer, we go back and forth and chat. We did like the Mediocre Christmas Vacation tour last year.
Yeah.
Hopefully we'll do something like that again soon. But he's also, we're both dads, so we'll be sending dad shit back and forth. And
That's awesome.
anyways, he found this video on his phone of them covering one of our songs off of Black Sheep called "Lying to Myself," and they're playing in like a bar. I think they're out in West Texas, and the only production is like, you know, those cheap stage lights that are just like on a stand, and it's just like 4 bricks that are sound activated. It's just them jamming out. I think there's like 10 people there, you know. And he sent me that, and I was like, wait, I know this song. I'm like, oh shit, they were playing my song. He's like, yeah, dude, that wasn't that long ago. I'm like, oh my god, dude,
It's crazy.
it's insane. Yeah, they're absolutely crushing it. But they're one of the few bands too that I noticed like they don't let other people influence like by pulling favors for so and so to open and so and so to open. It's literally all of their friends that are opening their shows. Like
I love that.
they're like spreading the Red Dirt thing back out for like the new generation, which Cross Canadian Ragweed's doing the same thing, and they've been doing that. But Treaty's now doing that for like a younger crowd. But yeah, I think with my career, it's been, you know, I've seen a lot of people like come in and do this thing and do that thing, and I've like just been hammering away. And really, it comes back to this one time when I was playing at Billy Bob's for like a Sunday acoustic show, and it was me and a guy named Austin Alsop and Cody Jinks. And for these Sunday things, it's like a song swap that's live on the radio, and there's a bunch of people there, and you just play your songs, and they give younger artists like an opportunity to come up play with guys that are more experienced. And Cody Jinks was still in an old like Ford RV. It wasn't like a full tour bus. It was like kind of a van that had the, you know, build on the back of it with like a bedroom and a couch type of thing. So we go backstage, and of course I'm like, hey, I'm trying to look for some wisdom. Oh, I was young, dude. I was probably like 18, 19. I probably asked him something like, you know, you got any advice, or, you know, what should I do here? And he just like looked over and he was like, you just got to be too stupid to quit, man, and eventually it'll happen for you. And I was like, well, it's like an old country saying, you know, it's like so true to it. And that's exactly what he did. Like, he's been doing it for a long time too, and just doing his own thing. But I always think about that moment just because I also see like everything he's accomplished and done, and I'm like, damn, dude, these guys that when you just buy into yourself and you just keep doing it, I really don't think there's a way that you can lose if you just like don't fucking give up.
Yeah.
So
it's an interesting thing. Like I remember people like even Muskanine Bloodline. So like when I lived over here, I shared a space with them that they didn't live there, but like, you know, they had like their merch there and stuff. And I remember them saying, yeah, man, there's a lot of companies that come and 6 months later they're gone. He's like, or I think it was Charlie talking about it. So he's like, you never know who's going to be around. He's like, but you guys are around. You believe and you love this thing, and there's power in that. It's Too dumb to quit's a great way to say it.
Yeah, that's kind of the whole thought behind Almost Famous. You know, this is like almost there, dude, almost there. Which some people that are at the top are still saying that to themselves.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's fucking frame of mind, dude.
Every time something cool happens, we a couple things we usually say. I always say like we're almost legit, you know.
Yeah.
We're 96.2% there.
Yeah, we're like so close to almost legit.
We're Raised Rowdy. We'll never fully be 100. We'll be living that eventually, like that 99.89%. We'll probably just call it there. But
that's the work ethic that makes things great. No matter if you're building a house or making music or, you know, it doesn't matter your profession, but like that drive to like always be better than yourself on the last thing. Like that's what I thrive off of. That's like the only thing that keeps me going.
Me too.
So I just think that if you want to be like, for me to accomplish the things that I want to accomplish in life, which kind of goes back to like writing songs that I want to be here forever, that I want people to listen to, like I got to make the next song better than the last one.
Yeah.
And I got to make the next show bigger than the last one, you know? Even if it's like a production thing, it's like I got to do something different. We got to rip a better solo here. We got to do something crazy in the crowd that like is a cool, unforgettable moment, you know? So I would say staying thirsty is usually a good thing, and, you know, in a healthy sense of just always trying to better what you're doing.
Yeah. I think that's something that the greats all have, is that want and that drive. That, if you ask me about having interviewed over, I mean, gosh, like 200 guests now, the thing that you see of the ones that move the farthest is they want it more than everybody else, and they keep on pushing.
Yeah.
You know? And I've been watching you keep on pushing for years. Not always right next to you, because, you know, we don't see as much as we should. But, well, maybe not should, but you're down in Texas. But, man, I've just been watching you have that drive. And I remember from that first podcast, just the conversation and how you had ideas in your head and you knew how you wanted it to go. And that's so powerful, man. You can't teach that. You either have that or you don't.
Yeah. Hopefully I can teach my sons that, or hopefully they have it. I don't know.
Yeah.
You're raising them rowdy. That's for damn sure.
I know. Yeah, they're little rockers, dude. They've been on tour. I took my first son out on the first national tour we did when he was 3 months old. So he's been to like 20-something states. He's been into Canada and stuff. Like, wow. He's got his papers, man. He's good to go.
That's awesome.
You just can't get mad at him when he gets knuckle tattoos, bro.
Yeah, I know.
It's coming.
When he popped out, I was like, wait, what happened to his tattoos? He popped out without a mustache and tattoos, which right now I'm shaved up. But yeah, it is funny how kids kind of change your perspective on that stuff. And then I don't know, for me, it made me want to just lock in even harder on what we were creating. Because I'm like, all right, you only have so much time in a day, so like I'm not gonna waste my time on this bullshit that I don't believe in. Like I can't do it, dude. There's just not enough time. We already have enough distractions like on our phones and in our hands all the time. So when we're like writing or creating, I'm like, here's what we're doing, and I believe in this like a ton. So let's just like build on this idea. And it's not that it always has to be my idea at all, but if we start somewhere, like She Loves Me Not, I really wanted to write a song like describing a girl like a flower, but in an odd way. And so it started, she's a wildflower growing through the cracks of the city streets. And we're kind of riffing on that. And then we're like, okay, where's this song going? And then I was just like, oh my God, the nostalgia just hit for me of just like that game. Just she loves me not. Just picking that flower off. And then I'm like, okay, this matches numbing nostalgic in a way. Mm-hmm. And you know, I love that idea. So that is how we frame a lot of things, but it doesn't always start with like your tagline at the beginning. It's not like somebody just walks in and they're like, here's the money maker, guys.
Mm-hmm.
But if you keep driving and you have good minds in the room, you usually find it.
Yeah, I totally agree. We talk about that all the time too. It's like find your people, lock arms with them, and roll forward. There's so much power in it.
Yep, 100%.
Well, brother, anything else that you want to talk about? Maybe some touring you got on the books or anything coming up the line?
Yeah, can I snag a beer and we'll talk about that?
Yeah.
I'll do that. 1 second.
Absolutely. Yeah. It looks like there's lots of dates out there.
Yeah. I'm good.
No,
You
we're
got
all
anything?
we're all good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Touring. Yes, actually.
I got all the dates pulled up here on the power of Spotify too. You can click on events and
Sick.
pull them up.
Yeah, that's thanks to Jimmy.
Shout out Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy. Jimmy's the one that organizes all those things.
Oh, South Dakota. I've been there. The district. That's a cool room.
I've never been. Yeah, we're headed. We play.
I pass that over to you because I'm sure there's.
Or should we do a test and see if I remember?
Oh, that's what I normally do on
do a test.
on outside the round. I normally quiz people. So
Let's see how many I can name off in a row. So we just did St. Louis. We're doing Basement East tomorrow. Then we got to go to the Dakotas. We have 2 shows in the Dakotas. I think the second one's at the Hard Rock. It's like Sioux Falls and Sioux City.
Yep.
Then we got Billings. Then we do Sturgis for the first time, which will be super sick.
so on brand. That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah. White Trash Dive Bar, local favorite right there, baby. Let's go.
Bro.
Then I think we do Colorado Springs.
Yep.
Then is it Wichita?
Close.
No, Kansas City.
Yep.
And then Omaha, and then back down to Wichita.
Yep.
Okay, and then from there I go to, is it Columbia, Missouri?
Yep.
Then Dubuque, Iowa with Treaty Oak at Five Flags Event Center.
Yep.
And then we're going to drive home, say hello to the babies, and we pop up to Irving, which is like Dallas, Fort Worth area, opening for Treaty. Come back home, and then we have 2 nights in Whitewater with those guys. And then the 23rd of August would probably be Corpus Christi.
You're so on the money. This is awesome.
I'm just, I'm basically a tour manager, so I have to know all this shit.
I love it, man. As a former tour manager, much respect.
Yeah. I haven't advanced all those yet, but I've done
Oh,
some
you'll
of
get
them.
there. It's in the fall. We got time.
So I was at the 23rd.
We're in
Dude, what
record
is-
mode. We got time.
What is after that? Okay, I think I'm blanking out after that.
Got a little break. Next is in October.
Oh, okay. We have more that will be up
Yeah.
in there. But October, we're doing the entire West Coast. So we will be ripping the West Coast with Pecos and the Rooftops,
Oh, sick.
which starts, I think, in Salt Lake City.
Yep.
And this is where I get kind of lost because we're a couple months out and, got kids and drinking some beers. But I know we go up and then down over the West Coast and then back across through Arizona.
Yeah.
I know the route. Like, I could probably tell you the highways to get there. But
Spot on, bro. Yeah, the Idaho, then the Washington, then you Sacramento, Paso Robles, San Diego, Hollywood, which I'm sure Troubadour, those are going to be sick.
yeah, I'm also really pumped about, I think we're doing Ace of Spades in Sacramento.
Yep. Yeah, legendary room.
Dude, it's super badass room. And I heard that the one in Salt Lake City is pretty dope. We haven't played at that particular room.
Yeah, I've
but
heard good things about that. I think Ella just played out there, the complex. Yeah, it's a big multi-genre room.
I love, like, there's certain places up there that I kind of have not had great experiences at. Portland, Seattle. Nothing with the city specifically, just how it gets after dark.
Yeah.
And the things you got to watch out for on the sidewalk.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what your experiences have been like, because I'm a Northeast guy. I grew up outside New York City. So
Okay.
what your experiences in, like, the Northeast, because, like, with your like rock and roll, then country's been doing well up there, too, but, like, the New Yorks, the Phillies, the DCs, like, Boston. I know there's some
Yeah.
cool rooms up there. I'm sure you've been up through there.
We have been up through there mostly on support stuff, just because it's far away from home,
Yeah.
So, like, most of the sports stuff we've done up there has been super sick. We did the Dirty Honey tour out there, and then we did some with Godsmack out there, which is all super dope. Actually, the ZZ Top tour was up there too. Like, the first ZZ Top show, I think, was in Albany, New York, at this like hundreds-year-old theater or
Yeah.
something. I do love going up there and, like, when the season's right, when all the leaves are turning, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It is definitely more restrictive on travel up there because,
Yes.
like, what do they call their turnpikes or their toll roads? I can't remember.
I
The
mean, we have
exact
like
name.
the Jersey Turnpike, the Parkway, like the
Oh, the
parkways.
parkways is what I was talking
yeah,
about.
in New Jersey especially,
Dude, the
like the Merritt
parkways-
Parkway with no shoulder.
There's no shoulders, and then a lot of the clearances are like 10 feet on the bridges.
Yeah, they don't want trucks on there. It's like
So-
IndyCar racing.
Yeah, so you're like, where the hell are you supposed to drive the truck? Because the parkway is the only thing that goes from this major city to that major city without going 2.5
They
hours
gotta
around.
go up and around. Yeah.
Yeah, so that gets a little tricky. Northeast, we're still pretty new out there, so we're gonna keep doing some, some digging and some work out there. I had a great time in Buffalo. I loved, I think it was Ironworks we played
Yeah.
out there. That place was super cool. Out on the West Coast, yeah, I have had a lot of fun out there, dude. I love playing golf out like in Reno and Vegas. It's really cool to play golf out there. Ball goes forever, and you're just like in a desert, which is super dope. I tend to be a little weary of big cities, so LA, it's cool when you're in the venue, but it kind of freaks me out just because like you never know what's around the corner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you could say the same thing about, downtown Austin. It's not just specific to the state of California. Although I did just make these new shirts. They're pretty sick. They just say California sucks. It's mainly for my guitar player, Willie. He's from San Bernardino over in Orange County, and he moved to Texas to like make it with his metal band like 15 years ago. And then he ended up valeting cars with Jimmy at the Radisson. That's how I met Willie, who's now in the band, because I needed a guitar player, and I've known Jimmy since middle school. We were roommates.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you need a guitar player for the show. We were opening up for Stone LaRue. He's like, I got a guy who can do it. And so I like drove up to the Radisson, and he was valeting. So he's like, can I take your keys, sir? I was like, no, actually, would you mind hopping in and playing a show? He's like, yeah, I just got to go get my guitar at a storage. I was like, storage? I thought you were shredding like every day. But since then, we've taken him in as an honorary Texan. But yeah, West Coast is pretty sick. Really, the Midwest is a lot of fun. We've got a lot of friends like straight up through the Midwest. And like my grandfather's from the Chicago area.
Nice.
So it's always a little nostalgic to go back up there. And
Get some Malort in your system.
yeah, oh, God.
You can't play without somebody getting the bottle
I
and
know.
taking it in the van or the bus, man.
I know, yeah. You got to ask Willie about that next time you see him.
Oh boy.
He'll make a list of all these terrible things he would do before he drank that. Just because we've had some nights with that.
Yeah.
That'd be a great bit, honestly.
No, he'll probably go make him right now. Yeah, he's hilarious.
That's awesome.
Let's see, but my favorite places, if we were to specifically, I mean, I like being close to home, but also like the coasts are super cool to go to. My wife's from the Virginia area, so it's fun to go out there just to like see family. And it is really interesting too when you look at like, getting nerdy here, but like the architecture of the buildings and stuff and the roads when you're out east, dude, that shit is old.
Oh, yeah.
Like super old. And I didn't realize that. Like you see pictures in your history books and stuff, but dude, driving through like Vermont and
bro.
like the New York area, and dude, these houses are just like, they're so like just perfectly old school in these like fields, and you're like, oh, that's like what's on the calendar that's hanging on my refrigerator. And then as you get across the country, it just starts to look, well, you have the desert, interestingly enough, but then yeah, LA is like super modern, which is cool in its own right, but a little freaky.
Yeah, man. We had like George Washington monuments of like, they camped here, like right next to my high school growing up. Like down here, it's all Civil War. Up north, it's all Revolutionary War, like War of 1812. And
Yeah.
a lot of the stuff's still
Damn.
there. It's crazy.
Dude,
Different world.
I could not imagine. I could go on for days about that, but I'm just glad the world's not in that
Me too,
place
man.
anymore.
Me
really
too,
just,
brother.
Can everybody just be
Knock on wood.
friends?
Yes, yes. Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah, it's funny too. Like when my West Coast family would come back to like Pennsylvania, they're like the architecture is stuff that when you're in it, you don't think about it,
Right.
you know. But then when you go to other parts of the world, you're like, oh, yeah, this looks a lot different.
Dude, out in Pittsburgh, I've got a cousin that lives over there, and so sometimes we go, we'll stop and like I'll play golf for a day or two. The golf courses out there are super dope. Same thing over by Boston, dude. There's some that are just like municipal courses, greenest grass you've ever seen, and just crazy undulations and like hills and stuff.
Yeah.
Which you see a little bit of that here, but not like that, dude.
No.
That is, it really does blow my mind. It's terrifying to drive an overloaded Sprinter with an overloaded trailer through that stuff.
Yeah, bro. I drove the
I'm
bandwagon 63 feet from front to back, bro. I'm taking that all over the place.
Dude, that is crazy. And whenever you're going through Pennsylvania, like through the mountains and stuff, and then there's, what's the major highway? It literally tells you on the sign, you're like, you're at the highest point. And I'm like, oh, God. Like, I'm just looking left and right. And I've been up there before where you can just see the clouds.
Yeah.
And you don't realize when the clouds are up there, like, it's just fog. You're like, no, bro, that's the clouds. Like, there could be a plane anywhere around here. You don't even know.
Yeah, I agree though that down here you do get some of the same architecture, or not architecture, like landscape. So like the mountainous, like when you're heading into Georgia, that feels like West Virginia mountains.
Appalachia,
like,
baby.
Yeah, it feels like that. So like it's funny the kind of like way it's laid out here. There's certain areas where I feel like I'm almost home. You know?
Yeah.
Which is cool for me.
The area of Kentucky cracks me up because like they'll have some crazy badass venues in the middle of like just a pit in the mountains, and you'll be like, I don't see any houses. Is anyone gonna even show up? And the show comes around, and it's literally like every white trash dive bar local favorite you've seen all in one place. Yep. I feel like we should play more shows there because
it's like the roundup. Man. Yeah. East Kentucky, honestly, man. I love it. Corbin, Kentucky is fucking awesome.
Man, there's fans of music everywhere, right? That's the one great uniter is music. And the music that you do fits in those areas. You know, it's the roots. I remember before I got hired at Big Loud when I was over there talking to Joey Moy, and he was like, rock music was the music of the folks that were, you know, struggling financially. Yeah. You know, like trailer park folks. And he's like, and then that turned to country. And now it's kind of coming back to rock.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because country started making money. So the rock guys are like, damn.
That's how it goes. But it's super interesting to see that, but it's also like everything's full circle. And the nostalgia of this record is so full circle.
Oh, dude, it's so timely with where we're at in the world right now. People are craving that 2004, 2002 energy, you know, like just in general.
I hope they're accepting of it coming from a new source. You know?
I think so.
Because a lot of the bands are like coming back out that haven't been playing in a long time, which is sick for me as a fan. And I just hope that, like, we were talking about your brother's stuff, right? Like, I hope that people have just give me a chance. Give me like 15 seconds. If you don't like the song, fine. But there's like so much new great stuff to dig into, which obviously I believe this record is one of those things too, but not just me, but like I mentioned Mitchell Ferguson, dude, that guy's making some really cool stuff, which I'm going to talk him into making a Deep Cuts record sometime, but because he's got some songs that he's written that aren't out yet that I'm just like, fire, dude.
And his voice is insane too.
Yep.
So good.
I do feel kind of like a jackass singer when I'm singing on the same song as him because we have one out with him called Hurt So Bad. And I'm just doing my thing, which is just kind of like, I don't know, just smooth, you know? Mm-hmm. And he's just ripping it on vocals, and I'm like, but it doesn't have to be, I tell myself this all the time, like when I'm in the room with somebody like that or like a Riley or like a Willie, like you don't have to be the best at like being crazy and like show off, whether it's guitar or vocal or whatever. Like you got to find what you are and how you get that out. That's how people connect to it. Yeah. So there's a bunch of songs that I tried to sing higher. Like I tried to bring the key up of the song. I was like, no, dude, I can belt it more. But it just got into this range where it didn't like sound like me anymore. So then that's where the good producers would be like, bro, just chill for a second. Let's do this where it sometimes it feels too easy, going back to that competitive thing, right? I'm singing a song and I'm like, I'm not really pushing, man. Like, I want to push. I want to, like, feel that. And you got to be careful of, like, trying to do that too much because then you can have something come out that just doesn't even sound like you and lose the connection with people because it's not like what you are in here. You just had so much energy that day in the studio. You're like, yeah, you know?
I love that. Well, dude, it's been great to get to catch up again. I mean, I know we like got to see each other in passing and we got to hang a little bit when we were at that festival, but It's been good to reconnect with you, brother.
Absolutely. We need to get out to some more. You talk to those tailgating tall boys guys. Tell them to call me.
Oh,
We know
dude,
those guys
yeah,
well.
dude.
I'd love to play that.
There's so many different festivals and different folks that we're starting to get into their network, and they're coming into ours, and they're like, who? And it's like, if you're looking to go that lane and just people to have a good time, and someone's going to put on a hell of a show, you're the guy. Like, that's you want high energy. You want people rocking out and feeling something in front of a band playing on stage. It's you and your boys, man. So
Yeah.
seriously, thank you for doing what you do. Like, we love it here.
I
Big
appreciate
fans.
it. Yeah, we had one of the last shows we just did on the way up here in Oklahoma. I was cracking up because there were some like younger chicks and dudes in the front row, and they were absolutely rocking out. And there was an older lady in one of those like push walkers that she could sit on right next to him. And dude, she was like rocking out even harder than them, like almost out of the rocker. So I'm trying to focus on singing the song, and I'm seeing both of these realities happen at the same time, and I'm like, I guess there's no age limit on this music, young or old. It's just like whatever they like. But it is, like I said, the rocker chicks and the cowboy hats banging the heads, and then you've got the young college kids and the old walkers just fucking jamming.
The Meemaws, man.
Yeah.
Meemaw country.
They get down. They get down.
I love
That's
it.
Hey, there's no age limit on loving music. I mean, I'll tell you that. That's the one thing that the oldest people and the youngest people all have in common, is it connects all of us.
Tom Petty.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, man, thanks for being on here again and coming back on the pod, man. We appreciate it.
Hell yeah. We'll be back, hopefully.
Yeah, absolutely. Not as long between next time.
Yeah. And I won't be an hour late next time, I
Oh, bro.
swear.
Hey,
Yeah.
dude, it's Nashville.
We get it.
It's,
Yeah. Traffic out here is nuts.
Yeah, it ain't. It's a pain in the ass. So you're good.
Well, guys, I'm Nicky T,
And I'm Matt Burrill.
and we'll see you in the front row.